This training part brought to you by Pryde. I'm going to show you guys the non-restraint way of teaching your horses to lay down. It's something that a lot of people don't really share, as far as teaching, and clinicians and alike is teaching the lay down, and often that's because it's been taught through a restraint way. And the unfortunate part is if you don't have the timing or the skill set, that often not only you're putting yourself at risk but also your horse. So tend to be people that have that experience don't generally teach people the lay down process. But we've got a non-restraint way of teaching, which means even if you maybe don't have that skill set, the worst that will happen is your horse just doesn't lay down. But you're not going to be in a position that yourself or the horse can get hurt. When we teach the lay down in a non-restraint way, there's 3 steps that we're looking for. We're looking to teach the horse to lower his head, just like you would see if a horse is laying down unassisted out in the paddock. Second part you'll then notice the horse do is start to bring his hind legs closer to his front legs in preparation to lay down. And then thirdly, he's going to bow down to both knees and then choose a designated side to lay on. We've got 007 behind Tiger Lily here just on the mark, so we'll show you guys the process here with Tiger Lily, and you'll see him in the backdrop. And you can already tell just from me preparing her as far as turning her, she already looked at laying down. We like that willingness in our horses for them to really see the lay down as the reward. 007, you need to go back onto your mark. So, and back on your mark. So this is using that correction and your opportunity to have him there, but he needs to be on his mark. So to teach lower the head, the first thing we want to know is that I can actually just use pole pressure. So you can see by pulling on the head stall or the halter, she's bringing her head down, but that's more of a secondary aid. The primary aid is going to be from me resting my whip underneath her belly, and then my secondary aid will be there as I pull that nose down to the ground. So you saw pretty quickly she started to prepare herself as she understands the lay down. But we'll still try to show you in these 3 stages. So whip underneath, head down, good. And then I'll release the whip in order to allow the horse to bring its head up. The secondary stage will be then getting those hind feet to move closer to the front feet. So I'm going to still ask for a head down, and then I'm going to tap her under the belly until her hind feet there come up underneath, and she's gone one step further into the lay down. And that's often what happens, is we get them so comfortable with the lay down that you only have to start thinking about the first step, and those horses will start putting all 3 together. So we'll just show you again, and we'll just pause for the effect as she has a scratch that needs an itch. There we go, you're finished. So I'll bring her over here. I'll try to keep her on profile to the video camera. Good girl. Not that cue. She's got a few buttons on her, this pony. This cue, not that cue. There underneath. So I'm tap, hind legs come under, and then I'm just going to stop her before she goes into that lay down. So here again, tap, hind legs under, and then I'm going to stop before she goes into the lay down. So that's the 2 steps of having head down, hind feet underneath. The next step is starting to get her to pick up her front legs. So when we teach this, I'll just teach it from just behind the knee. If I place my whip behind the knee, I want to see the horse pick up its front leg. So there. Then the second one will be this other knee. So I'll see if she can hold that. I'll pick up this other knee. There. And you can see her again prepare. There, as she prepares for the lay down, just from touching the backs of her legs. So as she drops down to 2 knees, then that's her signal to go into the lay down. So we'll see if we can put all 3 together, even though she's had a couple of lay downs. I'll tap under there, and then I'm going to tap the front legs, and then she's going to then come down into that lay down. And this time we'll see if we'll just let her sit and just dwell in this position to allow her to get as much comfort as possible in the lay down. If she was to get up, all I would do is then re-ask her down again. So I'm just happy to sit with her. And take a moment. And then I'm going to signal for her to hop up into a sit. There, and then all the way up. Good girl. So that's the 3 steps to teaching the lay down without restraint. Head down or lowering of the head. Second one, moving the hind feet closer to the front. And then the third, bending at both knees. And each stage, like if you're looking at a timeline, you know, this is like the old cook and show one I prepared earlier, so to speak. But as far as a timeline, you know, I've had horses lay down on the first session, and then I've had horses that have taken, you know, several months before that we've been able to feel comfortable enough to lay down. So I don't put a timeline on it. All I'm looking for is the horse to improve each step before putting it all together into the lay down. One of the tips that I can give you is making sure, like you could see with Tiger Lily, that they accelerate into whichever stage you're up to. So what I mean by that is if you're asking for the head down, I want to see that the head moves down really quickly before going to the next stage onto bringing the hind feet. Same goes with the hind feet. I want to see the hind feet move underneath the horse really quickly before I then go on to bowing at the knees. And that all happens once you put it together, the horse will accelerate into that lay down.